Hello, everybody. It's time for another episode of No Offsides. Today's sponsor, we're brought to you by the Asheville Hockey League. The mission of the Asheville Hockey League is to provide community space for inline hockey in Western North Carolina, empowering youth and adults of all backgrounds through competition, mentorship, skills development, camaraderie, and the love of the sport. We're also brought to you by Asheville Parks and Recreation, who are dedicated to providing quality leisure experiences for the community through a variety of recreational programs. And now, it's time for the show.
All right, so here we are. It's No Offsides Podcast. Here we are again. Just another weekday sitting here, talking about hockey.
Yeah.
I'm Dan Dean.
I'm Justin Wood.
And here's our special guest, Jake Kopitzke. How are you doing, Jake?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on, gentlemen.
So, Jake is captain of Sunshine Conversion in the A Division. He also has he's also starting up his own venture, which we will get into. He could talk all about it. I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm not going to say the wrong words. So I'm just going to close my mouth about it. Jake, you can take over a little bit. But, we had a very interesting week. We had A Division semifinals, which the three of us partook.
We did.
Whatever version of the word you want. Jake, what is it? Is it partook, partake?
I believe it's partaken.
Partaken. Oh.
In the plural.
Okay. There you go. And so all three of us did not come out on top.
It's true. Jake doesn't agree. He won in his heart.
We emerged with a spiritual victory.
To be honest, your team did have a really good growth curve.
That's also I describe ending a season on a 3-game losing streak.
Hey, there's still one more, right?
Yeah.
Well, the consolation game, I think, is what we all play for.
Absolutely. I mean, the consolation game comes out with the best highlights.
Yeah,
it truly does. It's what I hear from the fans. It's the one they enjoy the most. It's the closest you can get truly to a Harlem Globetrotters experience.
Well,
yeah.
Who's playing for the first overall pick? No one's plays for the first. No one plays for the first round pick. Everyone plays for the content, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, my guys are playing for the first overall pick. They understand that everyone is always being scouted, and fundamentally, that means they all want to be drafted first overall. You guys know that we got guys in our ranks like J. Claire Cuzio who is jumping at the bit to go first overall. So these consolation games are your best chance to get scouted before the next draft.
He did say last night that he thought he should have went around sooner.
Yeah.
We'll see where he goes in the spring.
Yeah. He did put up a lot of points.
He was second in assist.
Yeah.
To the guy that's known to not have many assists.
Yeah. I don't know.
So shame on him.
Yeah. Well, what did you think about the season overall, Jake? How'd did it go well for your team? Give me a breakdown. Because I know, I know, but the listeners don't know.
For sure, of course. Well, I think the best thing to understand to frame our expectations for the season is that I really went into this draft thinking about relationships. And one of the things that I really prioritize as I go into each season is trying to make sure that the guys on my team have a good time and that it's not too stressful for them to come to the rink no matter win, lose, or draw, what it is. I want the guys on my team to enjoy coming to hockey on Monday, and beer league hockey should be a fun thing. So this season, more so than the previous two, I had some different strategies. In the spring, I drafted all the young, fast kids, so I didn't have to skate. And, that didn't work out so well. But so this season, we tried to really make sure that people had a good time and draft based on relationships. So I was trying to make sure that we had guys on our team that enjoy playing with each other and enjoy being on the bench with each other. And Our season we went 3-5, which was okay. I think we of course wish we did a little better, but we had some games where we played really well, and we had some games where we really stunk. So it kind of spanned the spectrum of things. But I hope that I hope guys enjoyed the season. That's kind of my only real goal.
I can tell you from talking to all the boys in the league that everybody loves playing with you for sure, man. From a player coach standpoint, I know you like to get everybody like riled up and in a good mood. I've heard some hilarious speeches from you.
I was gonna say I heard the pep talks in the beginning 4 games.
Yeah, well, that I appreciate hearing that, because that's what we're going for. And yeah, I think if you've never played on a team of mine before, that sometimes the pregame talks or the intermission talks can maybe catch you off guard a little bit, and probably not what you're expecting. I'm not too much of an X's and O's kind of guy. I tried to do that in the fall, and I don't know if it improves people's experience too much. So we maybe won't do as much X's and O's, and maybe just do a little bit more of the non-linear pregame intermission speeches that the boys do tend to love. Yeah. So
and it's good because you do a good job of being able to be like lighthearted, create a fun environment, but you do also get the point across of like, hey, we need to possess the puck, something like that. You know what I mean? Like you do a good job of playing both sides of it.
Well, yeah, I appreciate hearing that, because one of the things I really don't want to do, especially being assigned captain, is I don't want guys to feel like they're coming and being coached at beer league, which really sucks. No, yeah, you know what I mean. Like no one wants to come to the bench and hear you like berated over like, yeah, I know I should probably pass on a 2-on-1, or like, I know I should back check, or like, come to the point. You know what I mean? Like, but there's a sort of balance to kind of say some of those things, and somebody's got to sort of say some of those things, or at least there's some sort of like expectation to at least address it, kind of thing. But I do try to keep it light and not serious, and make sure that even if we're getting blown out, that we can not be too bummed out leaving the rink.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, I mean, I could say. Well, I was gonna say I could say that. I mean, Justin, you could speak for it. I mean, I think one time I sat there and I said, "Boys, we're playing like shit," right? And that was because
we were playing like shit.
Yeah, exactly. But otherwise, it's roll lines. Guys are like, you should be out there on the power play. I'm like, no, it's their shift.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we come to playoffs, and as a team, we want to collectively say, hey, let's get a little more serious. Sure.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we could probably put out our best line. But at the same time, like you said, it's rec hockey. If guys want to learn something, they'll come and ask. If they don't want to learn anything, then they won't.
Right.
So I sit there and I say, okay, this is what I like to do. 1-1-2. And if it goes as planned, fantastic. Mm-hmm. If it doesn't, it's, hey, maybe play a little down the middle because maybe you got beat, or maybe a pass got through or something. It's a suggestion. That's it.
Yeah.
But it's not like, hey man, come on, you got to be down the middle of the rink, like you got to back check, like it's like, no, it doesn't happen like that. It shouldn't happen like that. You shouldn't be overcoached in an adult league.
No. Jake, do you have any guys that were in B League last season or B Division?
Yeah, Riccardi stepped up. I thought he had a great season.
Yeah.
I love him. I think he's a really smart defenseman. He's a big body. He's hard to get around. So I was happy to pick him when I saw him still during the draft.
Yeah, he also.
I picked him over summer too, so I was like really stoked about it. I thought he was like a like undiscovered sort of pick late in the draft.
Yeah, he does a good job. Especially something you can see is when he moved up, he started kind of adapting and spending a lot more time turning the puck back around and finding open space, and he did a lot of that last season.
For sure, yeah, and he's got a couple more moves in him than I think people might give him credit for. He can shake and bake a little bit in some tight spaces. So
yeah, and I mean, it is his first season that he decided that he was like, hey, if I can play A, let me know. And I was like, yeah, like I'll let you know. And we had an open spot. I said, hey, come play. And you can tell, like, he's made some smart decisions, but he also first time in A, and I don't know how long. I think he may have played one other time, maybe, but it's a faster game. There are some fast people in our league. And so when they're barreling down on you, you got to make a quick decision. Or if
Yeah,
not,
there's a handful of guys that I know are just going to toast me every time. Gomer, Sam, forget about it. If Thayer or Winslow wanted to turn on the Jets on me, I look like I'm in mud. I pretty much do anyway. So,
dude, Winslow in the last game was cruising, man. In their
Yeah.
last game, he was flying.
Yep. They had a really really good game. That was one where we definitely wish we probably got power play goal or two more, or just didn't. We went maybe 1 for 3 on the power play kind of thing. We lost 7-4. I think if we got that 7-5 one, we would have felt like we were maybe right in it. But a 7-4 loss doesn't feel too close.
Was that the same score of our game?
No. We were 10-5. We lost 10-5.
Holy crap! I have PTSD. I didn't remember. I blocked out a couple of that.
You thinking 7?
Yeah, I was about to say, I think Paul might have had 7 on you.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
He didn't have quite 7. He had 6. He had a great game.
Oh, sorry.
Paul Sheldon had 6. Yeah, only 6. But no, you're thinking the number 7 because that's how many we let up in the first period.
Oh, God.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's about when I stopped counting.
Yeah, at that point it was over, right?
It wasn't over. I just wasn't paying attention anymore.
It wasn't necessarily over because I think it was 7-3 at that point.
We came back pretty hard.
It was 7-3. Burgess didn't have his best game. Overall, our team, the week off of being from the rain that happened on the previous Monday and the 40-mile-per-hour gust, I sent out a text. Justin, you can attest to this. I sent out a text said, do something. Go skate. Go to the rink. Go to a pickup. Like, keep your feet moving. I don't think we did that.
Well, I know Gomer took his team down to Greenville in the off week to keep
fresh. That had been awesome. The reason I asked, though, about B-League is I was wondering, do you ever, as a captain, how much attention do you pay to the B division? Have you followed this season very much?
Not a ton, but what I do play with a ton of the guys at pickup, and I do love the summer season.
Yeah.
I love the Sunday mixed pickups. I guess in the winter I'd probably go maybe some of the Wednesday mixed ones too, but the summer or the Sunday pickups and then the summer league are and the All-Star game actually too. I love all those different events where all the different levels are intermixing with one another, because you don't get a ton of interaction with the other levels being the different nights of the week for different leagues. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's true.
So I'm a big fan of the summer league where we mix it up and things are a little more laid back, and you get to play with people that you wouldn't play with otherwise, and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And talk about the All-Star game. Voting closes tomorrow night. Tomorrow is the last day and night to vote. Then I will tally it all up. I'll reach out to people and I'll see if you're able to show up, and we'll go from there. So, and then it comes down to people are like, well, are you trying to pick someone from the team that, because you have to vote for one person for every team. And so if that one person can't make it, it's not going to the same team. It's going to the next person that was voted on.
Next highest person.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that come Friday, then I tally everything up. I think there's been a decent amount of votes per division. I just sent out another reminder today, so check your emails. And last year it was a great time. People had fun. I'm looking to have another great time, another great experience for people, intermingle divisions, skills competition, and have a little round robin, little mini tournament, and have a single elimination knockout.
Heck yeah!
Last year was a blast. I'm excited. I'm the skills comp or the All-Star festivities are probably one of the best moments of the year, I think.
Well, I appreciate that, because I want it to be like bring the community together. Because I love our community. Our community is great, and I just don't get. I don't think we get to showcase it very much.
It's true.
Have it all together.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's great when you get everyone together. And I think it helps too, because there's a lot of guys that move up from C to B and then B to A, and vice versa. There's some guys that have been in the league long enough to where, maybe they've been playing in B, they want to move down to C, or they've been playing in A, they want to move down to B. I mean, it's good that the people so you feel comfortable hanging out with them. We see all the A guys every week, but being able to mingle and hang out with everyone else is great, which is a reason I love doing the pickups, is because it's a full mixed bag and you get to see everybody.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that being said, I am known to draft people that I have absolutely no idea who they are in summer league.
How many did you draft that you didn't know?
Well, I think we had 2 guys on our team that were completely brand new to the league that we didn't know anything about: Tim Masterson and Matt Meatballs McGinnis.
Oh,
I think I'm getting
Love me some Matty.
Right, and they were both great. They were both beauties. We love Tim and Meatballs. So
I think Matty's just a fan favorite.
dude,
the Meatballs legend has grown into its own thing, and he's a wrecking ball out there.
He
is. The guy.
he had a great season.
He got like 4 points for us. He was awesome.
Yeah. I'm saying, and even this whole last B season, he did good, man. And I'm gonna tell you this: he wins so many face-offs.
He's excellent at face-offs. Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, because I drop so many pucks for him, and I always in my head I'm like, sometimes I'm like, okay, I gotta make sure it's right in the middle. I don't want to give him a fucking edge. Oh, I don't want to give him an edge over these guys. There's the first one. I can't be trusted.
We can't say the F word.
I kind of saved it. I'll go in and I'll catch it.
We can't say the F word, but we can say other words. Come on, Justin.
Okay, I'll do better. I had to mess up once, so I could do better.
Oh, damn.
Check this out, though. Great guy. But here's what I do want to talk about. Moving from that, let's talk about the B season just wrapping up.
Yes. I mean, so we look at 7 p.m. game last night, and well, that's a shame. But you have Green Man versus Creekside, 1 versus 2, right? And it was nothing short of a 1 versus 2 matchup. I can say that for sure. Yep. Right? What was it? It was 3-1 at the end of the first. Creekside, they came out right away and just put pucks in nets, and everyone was like, wow, Creekside probably has this in the bag. But you let Green Man linger and you don't put more pucks in the net. They had 3 guys in the top 5 goal scoring in points, right? Wow. They had the leading goal scorer. They had the either first or second most assist man on their team. They had the 3.
Yeah.
Adam Johnson, Luke Peniston,
William.
And who?
Adam Johnson.
Oh, no, Bill Tanner.
Bill Tanner.
Right?
Yeah.
Who Bill Tanner wins MVP.
Yeah.
And, you have the 3 of them. You let them sit around for so long, they're going to put the puck in the net. And I think that's what happened is that, it was 3-1. I think it ended up being 3-2, then 4-2. And so, you had Christian Carswell with 2 goals.
Yep.
Brian Doe with a goal. Joe Hill with a bomb from the half line.
Yeah.
That was a miss. So, Jake, you missed on this clapper from the midline that went upper corner.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. No, it was a missile.
Oh, Kovalchuk.
Yeah.
So, picture this. If it was, let's say, Daryl taking a clapper that actually hits the net.
I'm familiar with Daryl.
Yeah. So if his clappers actually hit the net, but they were like just under the bar.
Yep.
I've seen him do it.
Yeah.
He's like Fulton Reed, 1 in 10.
Yeah. But these guys, I mean, the thing is, they were playing the way they were playing Green Man at the beginning was perfect. They were pressuring them a lot, and they were making sure that they couldn't get outlet passes. Because that's the thing about Green Man is, and Brian, he actually figured it out for his team, Fisher, right? Am I saying his name right? Isn't that Brian Fisher?
Yeah, defenseman on Green Man.
Yep. Yeah, he had a great. I would say, honestly, watching the game, I think it was him that turned the game around for his team when he stopped rushing the puck. He said, "Stop skating so blanking fast, settle down." And then his team kind of figured it out, and they were following it. They figured it out that they had to start breaking it out and possess the puck. And once they did that, those boys just started hitting, 2-3 pass combos and just going backdoor and finishing those pucks on the net. It was crazy.
And and it was something similar to their last game because they didn't play well in the semifinals matchup. Well, yeah, semifinals.
Yep.
Is they, at the same time, they were like, they called each other out, as I said last week on the podcast, right? And they were like, guys, we can't play hero hockey.
Yep.
Move the puck. And eventually they came. That was a 3-2 game. Like, that was a 3-2 win on the semifinals. You have a 6-4 with an empty net. So technically we're looking at a 5-4 game.
Mm-hmm.
And, you have Bill Tanner with 2 goals. Like I said, MVP because he had the game winner.
Mm-hmm.
Luke Peniston with 2 goals. Adam Johnson with a goal and 2 assists. And Cliff Blasey with an assist. And you have Joe Terry with a goal and an assist as well. Right?
Dang.
So, those are your stats. It's the same guys on the score sheet every game for Green Man.
Yeah.
And that's why the 3 of them were at the top of the ranks on points, goals, or assists.
Yeah, they were just good. That group of guys played really well together and all kind of leveled up over the summer season.
Well, and when I was talking to Bill Tanner after the game, because I forgot to take his individual shot, so I had him come behind the penalty box, and I hung up the banner and took a picture of him for social media. And I was like, hey, man, you had a great season. He was like, thanks. He goes, it was a great season, a great team. And I was like, yeah, good luck getting that team next year.
Yeah. No, yeah, they're not going to let that happen.
No.
I wouldn't.
But, yeah, and then you go into semifinal, the consolation game, which was Strata versus Gemelli. So you have 2 sister companies, restaurants, going at each other. And we go to a shootout and we get some content out of it. But it was so Jake, just to describe it to you, it was El Natural and not your way of going to a shootout.
Covering up a puck in the crease. Is he denying this?
He's doing Jake things right now.
I feel like it's a legitimate play. I don't think it should be against the rules.
Oh, I agree with that. Sure, yeah.
I don't see why it's a penalty shot.
Well, and then not only that, what was that, a 4 or 5 goal lead, and it just, here, have it. Let's go to a shootout.
Exactly.
I command a tank.
Like I
said, my boys played for the first overall pick. What do you think is going to happen next week?
Yeah.
We're going to do another shootout.
No.
He has been sending me threatening texts all day. Actually, for the last 3 days. They've been getting more and more cryptic, but they're getting scary.
You better earn your shootout, Jake.
I earn all of my shootouts.
I don't know about that last shootout.
Well, it wasn't even a shootout. It was a penalty shot for Bill McNeil, and he drained it.
Yeah.
I thought it was a shootout.
No, we went to overtime.
Yeah.
Oh, overtime, then a penalty shot?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, so my memory's a little...
No, the
right.
penalty shot took us to OT.
Oh, okay.
We had to get to OT. We weren't going to. Justin wasn't going to call a goal.
I wasn't going to do it, no. Because you guys were they were like, we're never stopping. We're playing until tomorrow.
It was only appropriate that the game went in overtime.
At one point, I think it was you and Austin were taking a face-off together, and you just bear hugged him and lifted him up off the ground and just held him there for a while.
That's good hockey. He's a fast skater. You got to immobilize him.
Yeah. Well, here, I want your opinion.
Defense starts with one-on-one defense.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. You're 100% good. That's what I'm talking about. Those are those things you say where it's both comical and actually very true. So good job.
I tell all of my guys to neutralize the top threat on the rink every time. Do what it takes. It just happened that sometimes we take a draw against Gomer, and he's like quicker, stronger, and faster than you. Let's put that away. I don't know what that's all about.
That's neutralizing.
What are you
I'm not.
doing?
I wasn't trying to show this. Okay, I was trying to show.
I thought Dan was like, I'm being funny.
No, you said neutralize your opponent, and I'm showing you how I was neutralized. Okay.
Yeah, you got.
I have different strategies. See. The thing is about a woolly mammoth, you can't take it down with one spear.
Which actually,
you gotta use a net.
Now I remember my hot take. Right. I got my hot take because that just reminded me, jogged my memory.
All right, we're up.
Which is.
I'll have a hot take as well.
Oh, okay. which is, and the fans even pointed it out too. Why are you making funny faces, right? And don't give me quotients for fans. You were one of the fans. Why are you making funny faces and like why are you so like, and this is just talking in general, right? Just if you get a penalty coin, go to the box. Don't be like, oh, what did I do? Like, ha 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 ha, right? And it's just like, if the people standing outside the rink are going, why are you smiling and asking why it's a penalty, right? Just take your penalty. You committed it.
I didn't get a penalty all season.
Not you.
I was
You
the
were one of
penalty
the
leader.
you and Jake Whitman were sitting out there watching the game, and when it happened, one of you shouted out like, "Why are you laughing? Like, what? You committed a penalty. It was obvious." Right? So it's just like you get called, go to the box.
Yeah.
I
Go to
agree.
the box, you feel shame.
Yeah,
They're
go
not
to
going
the
to change their
sin bin.
minds.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
I've never once seen a ref change their mind and be like, oh, you know what? You're right. no more penalty.
Yeah.
I can
It
say,
only gets worse.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can get them to change their mind, but it's just gonna go from a 2 to a 2 and 10. So
Right, yeah, it
Yeah.
only gets worse.
yeah. No, speaking on that, and speaking of people being, we'll go back to your hot take right after that. All right, check this out. I want your opinion.
What
on
was
this.
his hot take?
His hot take is that go to the box.
Yeah.
Oh.
Stop complaining.
Take your penalty.
Take your penalty.
You
like
got a
it's
penalty. Go to the box.
Yeah.
So quick interlude before we go to Jake's hot take, because this can be your own hot take, because we were talking about the shootout from the consolation game in B.
Ooh.
All right, there's some players from one of the teams that are trying to say that technically, was it Strata, correct? Technically, Strata did not win. They actually, there was actually
they technically won.
Okay.
Because they scored all 3 goals, didn't they?
Yes.
So the final of that was 3-1 because Strata went on the. I don't know.
No, but he
something like
did.
that.
But they're saying that the first one that he
What's
actually
the
went back.
controversy?
The controversy is the guy went backwards on his deke.
Okay. Did he draw the puck backwards or skate backwards?
Should we watch the video?
What's the camera? I mean, throw it up there.
Keep talking.
Because the thing is the ruling really isn't that you can't make the puck go backwards. It's really more of that you skate backwards. Even though I believe the language is the puck can't go backwards, but there are plenty of dekes like a backhand heel drag where you do make the puck go backwards, especially if you have somewhat of a diagonal motion. You know what I mean?
It was definitely his skates.
Well, and here's the
that
issue.
is illegal.
Oh,
that is no goal.
Well,
you cannot skate backwards.
You want to take a guess on who the ref was that was right down the goal line watching the play?
No.
I don't wish to defame any of our referees.
No, I enjoy all of our referees, and honestly, it's a consolation game. Yes, it means something, but it's only the 3rd or 4th pick. And I've said it many times. Only. I said it many times. I'd rather a pick fall to me. Like if I beat you, Jake, on Monday. Right.
I can assure that will not happen.
Okay, that's fine. If my team beats yours on Monday, it's gonna suck because I would prefer
the second.
I prefer the end. Right.
Why do you think I'm not gonna win?
Because we're playing you, so we don't want to let you win.
Your team gets crippled when they play us. It's like we're your
kryptonite. No. I'm saying that. Why do you think I'm guaranteeing that we'll lose that game? Because I want the second pick. I don't want the
want the second pick?
Well, I mean, I think we all know what you're going to do with it. And ultimately,
do you?
I just get to pick who's ever left between those really 2 guys that you're going to pick with it.
Who do you think
I'm pretty cool with either of them, and then on the flip side of that, I'd rather have the next best, probably, forward that's going to be available as that snake returns.
Well,
because we really just need to be bare bones about it. You're either picking Woodsy or Jake Whitman. with your
Okay.
first overall pick.
Okay.
So,
But did you hear the big news?
no.
There's potentially Tyler comes back.
Oh my.
Oh. I don't know. We'll see.
Tyler's good. Tyler could go somewhere in the
Sixth-
mid-third.
6th, 7th round. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not that far, but I mean, I could see him going as early as the second.
Okay.
You guys want to watch this penalty? These what are they called? Shootouts.
Sure.
I guess you can't watch it. Pull
Oh,
up your
we'll
phones
just-
right now and pull up YouTube.
I don't even know where it is.
Your phone?
Go to YouTube.
Yeah.
Why
Everybody
don't you
right
put
now.
the link in the chat, then I can pull it up.
Everybody go to YouTube, search Asheville Hockey League.
Well, they'll be watching us anyway because you're putting it up
Subscribe.
on screen.
You're gonna
Yeah.
cut this out, right? They're not gonna watch us search the internet.
Oh, they are. Oh, they are.
Oh, well, awesome! Strap in. This is
Yeah.
brought to you by the Asheville Hockey League and our sponsors. And
The sponsors love when we do this.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure they do. This is exactly actually when you should be filling in this dead air and doing an ad read. I don't want to tell you how to run your show.
That's what the new program's for.
Yeah, this week's episode.
What do you mean?
is
Our
brought to
program's
you
sitting
by-
right there. His name is Jay Woodsy.
Yeah, this week's episode is brought to you by Mills River Brewing. Not only have they sponsored my team for the last 3 seasons, but I drink their beer all the time.
Wow!
Thank you, Mills
And
River
shout out to
Brewing.
Bill McNeil, a regular of Mills River Brewing, who, as they say around Bill McNeil, watch your drink.
Holy crap, bro!
And let's give a shout out to the Loot House because they are having their reopening on Sunday.
Oh yeah,
because they just recently moved from 2 to 9 p.m. Sunday.
yeah. I'll look up their new address.
9
They're over there in Swannanoa. All right.
November 12th,
All right.
2 to 9 p.m.
What was the game we're pulling up?
It is the B League Championship and Consolation game. Oh no, you're clicking our live. You're going to our live.
He's gonna show it, and we're gonna watch it.
Wait, you want me to click on our live stream?
Yeah.
But mute it.
It's like looking in the mirror. All right, everybody.
Yeah.
So we're obviously figuring this out. If you want to leave some comments in below this video, go ahead. And if you would like to be on the show, send us a DM on either Facebook or Instagram and reach out to us. Jake is getting queued up. Dan is queued up.
Come on. I'm ready for these highlights, baby,
All right.
because it was good. It was a
Yeah.
good shootout. It
So-
just didn't end with a hard post.
So I also have a little bit of other footage here, watching everybody get ready. The best is that it's Greg, and I filmed this as dramatically as possible, and he made
Nice.
it look as dramatic as possible. Thank you, Greg.
Well, so give a little background. He was not feeling very well. He apparently exerted himself after he apparently ate a chicken quesadilla right before the game, and so he was not feeling very well after skating the entire game. And so then they were like, "Greg, you're up first."
But he hits
and
him
so-
with a forehand backhand.
He does hit him with a forehand backhand, but did you get a close up on his face?
Yeah, it's awful. He looks like he's dying.
he looks miserable. His eyes are closed. He is like, I'm ready to puke, and he scores, he skates out the rink, and he pukes.
Yeah,
Let's roll the tape, baby.
it's rolling. So here's the thing. All right, I'm even gonna put it in slow mo for everybody.
Where am I supposed to watch? On the Google Meet or on the YouTube?
YouTube.
On the YouTube.
And it's live?
Yeah, it's like slightly delayed, just a couple seconds. But pretty soon it'll catch up. You'll see it. He definitely goes backwards.
Oh, I
Good-
see it now.
Good on Monica though, challenging him that much to where he had to do that.
Yeah, that was on
She
Bart,
had him.
right?
Yeah, she had him. Monica, you had him. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, he sniped you like twice this season from the red line because he's got an absolute rocket, but you had him on that shot right there.
Well, and I think last night he was 0 for 20 on clappers from the red line.
Really? Yeah. What would you
Just
think
something
about
like
that
that.
one, Jake?
I'm watching it now.
Okay.
Greg's?
No.
No, the next one.
I was about to say Greg's was fine.
Yeah. It's the next one.
Greg's wearing 13. It's a good number.
You like that number?
I do like that number. My mom always told me that I was born on Friday the 13th when I was growing up. And when I was like 20 years old, I looked it up and I was born on a Thursday.
It happens.
So you're saying the very next one, 16, Bart?
Yep.
Yeah.
I showed it a couple times.
The first look through looked kind of lateral to me. Let me see if I'm the slow mo. Oh, so he does definitely cut out as she challenges him. That's definitely going backwards. That's no goal.
Yeah. And like you said, on first glance in full speed, it looks pretty lateral, but in slow-mo, you can see it. But
I think I can see full speed too. I just wasn't necessarily looking good enough.
Yeah. And what I can say, though, is if Strata is up to it, if you guys want one more shooter, Greg's challenging you guys to, Jamelli is challenging
So the puck, I don't know. The puck goes outwards, but the puck never goes back. He turns his hips to make a shot.
Yeah, but you're not allowed to skate backwards.
What do you mean you can't skate backwards? St. Louis did it every single time.
No, but he kept forward motion. Like you can't skate like up the rink. You have to keep skating down the rink.
Yeah, he like did enough of a U to where or enough of a turn to where he started to make a U.
Sure.
Speaking of St. Louis in the shootouts, when I was maybe in the 6th or 7th grade, for Davis Drive Middle, won the middle school roller hockey championship.
Yeah.
Against Wake Forest, possibly. I believe Austin McGraw was in that, and I pulled the St. Louis, and he was none too pleased.
Oh.
Nice.
That's awesome, man.
I think if Austin wasn't in that, and if he ever sees this, he's going to think I'm a total wad for saying that.
So I can say in one of these upcoming podcasts, because right now the first draft pick going into next, like the spring B season, is up for grabs. It's a coin flip.
That's what I mean. You're always being scouted. There's a lot of tile time between then.
Well, so the first draft pick is still up for grabs because the first two teams that were knocked out did not show up for their scheduled game.
I don't like it. I don't like that at all.
No, because you know why?
No,
it was too cold.
Oh.
All right. Hot take.
Uh-oh.
There might be nothing that pisses me off more about roller hockey players than when they complain about the cold.
Yeah.
We cannot be like the redheaded stepchild of ice hockey, and then you guys are like, it's 43 degrees. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Go skate around and heat up.
Yeah, you'll warm up. If you're moving around enough, you'll warm up.
Thank you. Yeah, you'll be fine.
Yeah. And
that's why at like 7 degrees.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, actually, Kirk Swenson asked me last night if, like, why don't we have a winter season? Well, it's not because of the cold.
Yeah.
It's because historically we receive rain. It gets cold. The rink is cold. So if it rains when the rink is cold, it doesn't dry fast enough. And so
it's too much of a logistic nightmare.
Exactly. Otherwise, I'd say, yeah, I don't care. Let's play in 20-degree weather. Yeah, sure. It sucks for the refs. But honestly, too bad for them.
They should stop wearing short sleeves.
I've been wearing a sweater underneath mine every time now.
Oh, my mic is screwed. Oh, well. I mean, I wear short sleeve, but I know that...
I get it when it's hot out. I'm just saying.
But, I mean, I know that when it gets warmer out, I'll throw a long sleeve under it, or I'll throw a hoodie under it, and I'll wear gloves. Like, if I could have a winter league and I could have 4 seasons, I would.
Hey, you know what? I have a hot take.
Hit me.
All right, here's my hot take. I think that for the summer season, we should issue us refs like some short shorts that are just black and white striped, and that's all I wear.
Like some straight up Daisy Duke car wash, like booty shorts.
Yeah, they're just striped very vertically. It's just all that's out
I
there.
tell you what, selling that calendar is exactly how we're getting an indoor rink.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
You must
Rowdy
have.
refs at the rink.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof.
What month
Wait.
are you going to be, Justin?
January.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. He's gonna be quite perky.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice and cold. I'm gonna be making snow angels in that outfit. Anyway, everybody, this is Jake Kopitzke. For anyone who doesn't know him, Jake, you've been playing hockey for quite some time, eh?
Couple of years.
Yeah. How old were you when you first started playing around, smacking pucks around?
I'm not quite sure, to be honest. My older brother, he's 2 years and 8 months older than I am. He started playing hockey, and I started playing hockey because he played hockey. So he started playing sometime around when he was 5, and I grew up in Michigan. I moved when I was about 5 down to North Carolina, but I can remember my dad like filling the sandbox and flooding it during the winter and us skating on it. So probably like slapping pucks around like 2 or 3, but I know I was playing travel roller by like 6 years old.
Cool.
But that was again because my brother was 9 at the time playing travel roller, and it was like I was there. So if there was a 6U team or an 8U team, I would just play with them, kind of thing. But yeah,
Very cool.
we rink rats from very, very young.
That's awesome. And you played roller first, right? Before you were
Pretty much
playing ice?
exclusively, actually. Yeah, I've only played like a couple beer league seasons of ice,
Okay.
and other than that, it's been roller pretty much exclusively. We couldn't really afford for both my brother and I to play ice hockey, so my brother played ice and I stuck to roller, and yeah, there's a whole bunch of other really funny stories that are associated with that, but I don't know, maybe another time we'll see if we get into any of them.
All right, sweet, yeah. Dan, what was your first impression of Jake? How did you get to know him?
It was funny because there was a random screenshot going around of the rad scientist post on Reddit, and I think it was posted probably either right when he found out about the rink or when he first joined the league, and everyone was like, "Who the hell is this guy?" Like he's boasting about our rink. He's talking about it's the greatest rink in the mountains or something like that. And everyone's like, it's an asphalt rink. Who is this guy that thinks that this is like gold? And ultimately, if you think about it, it is gold to us.
Oh,
yeah, for me it was gold, man. Oh my god, yeah.
It's the only rink we got.
You're right. Yeah, I drive an hour in. I don't even live there.
Yeah.
But Jake, your first season, I can't remember what season was that.
Honestly, I think it might have been the first one back after COVID, because I moved to Asheville back from Washington State in the summer of 2020, and there wasn't leagues going on, because I know I was pestering you through email about trying to sign up, and when things were starting, but
that happens often. So I mean,
no, and I understand, and like looking back on it, it's like COVID was happening, so nothing was happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then, so I think I joined that first spring season like 2021 or something like that. But I hadn't played in 8 years.
Whose team did you play on?
I was on Nick's team. Yep, I remember it. I was on Nick's team. I think Jason might have been on the team. Lee was on the team. He was skating out. Who else? That Cody kid was on that team. He's not.
Oh yeah, Cody. Yeah.
Moved away. Yeah, but that was my first season back playing hockey since I was like 18, 19 years old or something.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I went to App for school, App State, which is a tremendous place to go to school, but there isn't hockey anywhere near it. They don't have club roller. They didn't have roller back then. And and then I went to Western for grad school and out to the state of Washington for a while. And I just happened to really live really far away from hockey rinks and wasn't able to play for a long time. I did like 2 tournaments or so during that span, come back and play with the guys, but yeah, 2 tournaments over the span of 8 years is not really enough to keep the rust off.
Yeah. Well, and I can say Western, not Western, App actually surprising. I didn't know this, and no one, and there's been a bunch of guys that have gone to App. They got an ice hockey team.
They do. Yep. They're actually, I think, celebrating 25-year anniversary this year.
And they have an outdoor game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, against UNC Charlotte. They're playing at the like maybe AA or AAA baseball that's down there in Charlotte.
They're pretty playing cool. Around the same time that the Checkers are playing outdoor, right?
Exactly. Yeah. For the Checkers outdoor game, they're essentially doing the same thing that UNC and NC State did for the Hurricanes outdoor game, where they're just using the sheet either
Nice.
a day before or a day after. Which that UNC NC State game was not a smashing success, not only in the fact that I think like 30,000 plus people went to that game, but also UNC has decided to, the Booster Club has decided to fund building an arena for UNC's ice team, which you have to assume is for an attempt to try to bring D1 ice to UNC, which I think that's really probably the real benefit of that outdoor game for UNC and NC State, if that's what comes of it, is getting to show to the Booster Club and, the people who have money and care about schools like UNC that, like, hey, look at this. This is another really awesome, fun experience that we can fund. And I'm really excited, and I hope that this is sort of the beginning of a tidal wave of Southern schools starting to develop D1 ice programs, because I think when you bring in that SEC, ACC tailgating football environment to NCAA, D1 ice hockey, I think people are going to realize it's a match made in heaven, and I think they're going to really, really take to ice hockey in the South. I mean, the Southern audiences that are really big into football, I mean, it shouldn't be too hard to sell them on the game of hockey. They're both essentially blood sports, right? But I grew up in Cary, a suburb of Raleigh, and I went to Canes games my entire life. And I think literally every single time I've been to a Canes game, because I always sit in the nosebleeds too, I think I've been in the vicinity of some dude who's going to his first ever hockey game.
Nice.
And the reactions are always all the same. You hear them comparing different parts of the sport to different sports that they like. So they see someone take a slap shot from the blue line. They're like, oh my God, that's just like a catcher. Or they see, someone do a crazy, put it through someone's feet and they connect it to a crossover in basketball, or they checking is like hitting in football, or obviously fighting UFC, right? So I'm just excited to see these these ACC and SEC schools start to make a major push for ice hockey. UGA, the Bulldogs, actually did a similar thing where they're building like an 8,000 or 9,000 seat arena that can do ice for their program, and they still have a club program now. So like you can see some of these schools like UGA. I think USC has a nice facility. They're planning on building one, Chapel Hill. There's like these rumblings of something really cool happening, and I'm excited to see what happens just in terms of NCAA ice hockey in the South here in the next 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, and some of these schools as well have roller hockey teams too, which is interesting. I mean, something new that we found out this year just recently was that Western North Carolina has a roller hockey team. Have you found out anything new, Jake, because I mean, you've been trying to reach out to them, right?
For sure, yeah. I've made contact with them, and ironically, I guess for the viewer at home, I live the next little town over in Jackson County from Western Carolina now. We're both, Cullowhee and Silver, are both about an hour or so from Asheville. So I reached out to these guys and just let them know what I do with the tournament, who I am with Asheville hockey, and who the right people to talk to over there, and try to make some sort of a connection. Right now, it sounds like they got about 5 guys for their roster, and it varies of skill level and interest and that kind of thing, and they're trying to find a goalie. Currently, they've faced a little bit of a roadblock with finding a goalie. In the past, I don't know how long ago this applies to the NCRHA, the National Collegiate Roller Hockey Association, for those that are unfamiliar with the structures of college roller hockey. Previously used to allow community colleges and junior colleges that were close in proximity to universities, the players from those schools to actually play on those university teams. So guys in our league that we are very near and dear to our hearts, the Whitman brothers, Jake and Jason, sponsors of the league. They both went to AB Tech and played for Western Carolina at one point. It seems like the NCRHA is no longer honoring that policy. I don't know at what point that changed. I could have really old information, but there is a goalie that we're aware of that goes to AB Tech that potentially could play for the Western team. So we're seeing if we can sort of finagle some solution, because currently he's not allowed to play for them, and I don't actually know if he has any interest. So it could be sort of grasping at straws here. But the Western program is about 50% there, I'd say, to playing games, and they have a GoFundMe that if anyone's interested in supporting them, that they should check out too. They're trying to raise, I think it's $2,000, and I think they have about 1,100 raised for their jerseys and uniforms. So that's sort of where they're at. It's exciting to see that sort of that picking up again. I've also been in contact with some of the guys on the App State Ice team about a couple of them potentially coming down and either scrimmaging our travel adult team or joining our league or joining our pickups or that kind of thing. The guy that I was talking to said they had probably about 4 or 5 guys that were maybe interested in making the trip regularly down. So there's this, a little bit of a surge just in terms of collegiate roller, I guess you could say, in Western North Carolina. So,
hey, I mean, all are welcome. We'll, whether it's scheduling in our free time and whether it's guys from college that want to play some of the guys from our area and test their skill or test our skill, I'm all for it. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. I mean,
yeah, I think it'd be a blast to take like some of our Aces guys and play against the App State team and see how well we hang up with 22-year-old kids.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what we go travel to do anyway. Seems like we always lose in the semifinals when kids are like 24
or 18.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. No, I think it'd be cool to be able to reach out to them anyway, because I've been thinking it'd be fun to do like an Ironman tournament or something like that, and they can bring 2 teams, 1 team, 2 teams, and that's a good way for them to get down.
Well, speaking of Ironmans, I will tell you that it's a little too late in the year for me to organize anything, but I know some people within the industry that have some interest in supporting it. For U.S. Roller Cup, one of our partners is Hockey Wraparound. If you're familiar with that product, it's a sort of plastic blade guard that is great for playing it on asphalt surfaces and protect your stick and make sure it doesn't wear down. I highly recommend them. I don't really think they affect your shot in hands too much, but there definitely is a little bit of a feel. But ultimately, I think you're weighing the difference between burning through your nice composite stick or not, but we've spoken a little bit about doing some events associated with U.S. Roller Cup. And I think one of the things we might want to do is host some sort of Ironman tournament in Asheville.
Nice.
And the thing we haven't spoken about this, so I'm not speaking for them on this, but as you guys know, one of the things I really love to tell people about our rink, especially when we go to some of these nicer facilities, especially indoor facilities, is that, us Asheville guys, we play in the highest level of professional outdoor roller hockey in the Southern Appalachian region. And
just rolls right off the tongue.
It really does. And it's a great acronym, and I think it would work really well on a bumper sticker. Yeah. So what I want to do is I want to really bring that to fruition, and I want to do something like an Ironman tournament with because our rink is cheap and we just need to pay reps or whatever, and I'll try to sell T-shirts or something, but do a really cheap Ironman. So in case it rains, there's no big financial commitment. You know what I mean? You can just go to the breweries or something, right? But actually have a $500 prize for the Ironman. So it actually is the highest level of professional outdoor roller hockey in the Southern Appalachian region.
Dude.
So speaking of Ironman, I think it could be fun. And I know some guys who would show up from quite a distance. It wouldn't just be us Asheville guys. So
and that's something that we could probably do in the summer. I mean, the summer months seem probably be the best time to do it. Yeah, it'd be a little hot, but it's the less active of our seasons, I want to say.
Yeah.
And, sure, you might get some rain, but also, I don't know. These days, I don't know when it's going to rain, honestly.
Hot take.
Uh-oh.
Another one.
I got plenty. Plenty. For our league, I think when it rains in the middle of a game, we should switch the shoes and finish the game playing ball hockey.
Yeah, I'm not totally against that, actually.
You got 7 minutes left in the third period. Let's not show up again and get dressed. Let's just play ball hockey and finish it.
Yeah, take off the skates, put on shoes. Don't even change out of the rest of your gear. Leave it on.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Bingo. Let's just finish it.
Yeah.
It's a little difficult for goalies.
No, someone else can take off their skates and tie their shoes.
Bring a ball. We'll finish
We
with
already
a ball.
help them put their chest protectors and jerseys on anyway.
Yeah. No, we'll finish with a ball. We won't even use a puck. Use a ball, and then the goalie.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, we'll finish with a ball. Yeah, right. We'll literally just switch to ball hockey.
Dan, you would rather wear skates than wear shoes in net?
Yeah.
But not if you can't stand up, not if it's slick.
Dude, I'm saying if I didn't have to wear skates, and I would play goalie way more often.
Yeah, but
No.
okay, but you're not as experienced of a goaltender.
Yeah.
Well, but think about how aggressive he is in that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I'm saying he's more aggressive than every goalie in our league.
That's true.
Yeah.
And most goalies, period.
Yeah, meet me in the corner. I'll dangle you.
Yeah. Hey, that's what I'm saying. No, most goalies aren't putting spin moves on people in the corner. It's not normal.
Listen, I'm like a third defender back there, right?
You are. Well, you're one of the only goalies who, when I send them a pass, they actually see it coming.
I mean, I think
you guys would get a big kick out of my buddy Connor Johnson, Con John, an absolute legend of the game.
Oh, I know Con John.
You met him in Virginia. Yeah, absolute legend of the game. I'd love to introduce you eventually. I hope he comes to Winter Nationals in February. I don't know if the Raleigh Rebels are, but this dude taught me how to play guitar. He was like, he always played with my older brother, and my mom hired him to give me guitar lessons when I was like 13 years old. But Con John is absolutely amazing. And this dude will literally skate to the red line on power plays and act as the point.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
He's amazing. Yeah. He's like, give it to me. No. He's trying to quarterback the power play.
Yeah. Hey, that's another hot take for me. I think that all goalies should try way harder to be involved in being an outlet. I think
just learning how to stick handle.
Yeah, feeling comfortable, because how great would it be sometimes, especially when you're working it around, and then all of a sudden the other team starts catching up to you, and you kind of bobbling in at the blue line. You don't really want to have to use the energy to skate back. If your goalie's ready, you can send it all the way back to him or her or whatever, and they're ready for it, and they can just hold on to it and let everyone kind of sink back for a second, and then they'll send it right back to you to move back forward. That'd be amazing, dude.
Well, think about this. Like, the NHL introduced the trapezoid to stop Brodeur.
Yeah, I remember.
Right? Because you're a Devils fan. Because with the two-line pass and Brodeur and no trapezoid, teams were forced to dumping it in too much, and he could just send it right back, right?
Yep.
He was too good. So they said, you know what, stay back there, right? With roller, we don't have a trapezoid.
Exactly.
So what you're saying is totally possible in terms of sending it back for pressure if you had a guy who actually knew how to play it.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
You could dramatically change the possession game, especially as tournaments try to introduce some rules. Like when, a little bit of a pivot, but when I introduced the tournament, one of the things that when I introduced US Roller Cup, one of the things that I did was I did this thing called the Players Rule Series, as you guys are familiar, where I had people vote on a bunch of different rule changes that I had come up with. A lot of them were based off of debates that people had within the sport. A lot of them was just goofy stuff that I had come up with. But one of the things I did do around that time was I asked people what were some rule changes that they looked towards. And for me, as a guy who grew up like exclusively in roller hockey and was never an ice guy, you know, the adage of the sport is it's a possession game. And I remember growing up watching teams that like the Atlanta Stealth, who would intentionally try to win almost every single game 1-0 because they would just hold the puck the entire time. They'd get one backdoor goal on you, and then they would hold the puck for the rest of the game, and you couldn't get it away from them. And that mentality of the sport, I feel like, has sort of eroded a little bit. And I think that's somewhat to do with the fact that a lot of the high-end sport these days is guys who play the vast majority of their calendar year ice hockey, and then they come over and play summer roller, and they're bringing a lot more of that run and gun style to roller hockey, and a lot more like ice hockey is just a way more chaotic and less patient game. And that's the one thing I try to instill in guys who aren't familiar with roller, is that you have to think in 360 degrees and that whole like 200 feet kind of thing. Yep. You got to think in all different directions. You can't just think in straight lines towards the net, because that's not how this version of the sport works, right? And so if you bring that back to where roller is now and what people were saying when I asked what rules you wanted to implement, they were all based around trying to limit the possession. And it was really interesting, the timing of this, because this was immediately following Narch Nationals, where Black Ice beat Pama, right? Or Pama, excuse me. And Black Ice, especially Jay Murrow, like coach teams, are known for being the masters of this like super heavy possession. We're going to get up by 2 goals, bring it behind their net. You want to come, you want the puck, come get it. Yeah. Okay, we'll bring it out to our high dots, bring it back around. Oh, you didn't get it this time? Yeah, sucks. You know, they're like the masters of that kind of style. And what people were complaining about, and they were naming Black Ice specifically, was trying to get rid of different aspects of the game that were dominant in the way that they play possession style. So like people want to see only 8 seconds behind the net. They want to see offsides. They want to see backcourt violations, and shot clocks. Those are the 4 different things, and they weren't necessarily universal. So people weren't necessarily saying, "I want all 4 of these things."
Yeah. All right. Hey, wait. People, can you break those down again? What was the first one?
Absolutely. Yeah. So the first rule, and out of all of them, I'll disclose this is the only one that I sort of like.
Okay.
I do think that possession, hey, F you, come get it, is the best way of the sport, because it's the purest form of roller hockey. And I just really love the fact that, like, oh, you're better? Well, you're going to win. Yeah. You want to win? Be better. Work harder, train harder, understand the game better, be better, right? I like that fact that in roller, typically the better teams win. That doesn't happen as much in ice, right? But so the first rule is the 8 second. It's usually around 8 seconds, holding it behind your net rule. So a team is not allowed to hold it behind their net for more than 8 consecutive seconds without pressure. So if the defending team isn't forechecking, you're only allowed to park it behind your own goal and survey the rink and use that net as your screen and all that kind of stuff for 8 seconds before the ref tells you to move it, and then you get a delay of game penalty.
Can you just go to the side? Can you just go to the corner?
Well, so you can, is what you see some teams do is advance it about to the top of the circles and turn around.
Yeah.
So they're almost, because what happens basically is, and it depends on the rink, because roller rinks aren't standardized. And so sometimes there's that goofy blue line thing that they use, or there's like maybe the basketball court's baseline. Yeah. Usually it's around like the top of the circles, right? And so the defending team that is choosing to play sort of like a New Jersey Devils style trap, but in roller hockey, they're refusing to cross somewhere between the high dots and the top of the circles. Okay. Right? They're refusing to go chase the guy behind the net. And they're making that known to the ref that, like, hey, we're hanging back here. They got to come attack us. Now, without that 8 second rule, you can hang back there forever.
Yep.
Right? So that's one of the things that has been introduced over the years to at least force teams out of their own nets. Now, yes, sometimes teams will go to the top of circles, maybe get the...
Oh.
Dang.
We lost him.
Whoa. We'll talk. We'll keep it up for a second.
Yeah.
I think that's crazy though, Dan. I would be sad. I mean, even if they did add something like that, like an 8 second behind the net, I would probably do exactly what he said. I would just start breaking it out, and then I would just curl back, which is kind of natural anyway.
Hey there, bud.
You got too excited.
Yeah, you got really excited.
I love talking to Jake about this kind of stuff. He's,
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that the behind the net timer is kind of it's an iffy one for me, because there's so many outs of it. It's like, oh, I'll just step over to the corner and then I'll go back behind the net, or I'll go up to the top of the circle and I'll go back behind the net.
Yeah,
and it's just more puck chasing.
Yeah. All right, good.
All right, I'm back, boys. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. My computer died, and I was not prepared. Is that good or am I sideways for you now?
It's perfect.
Do it like that. Yeah, do it like that.
I like this
All
how
right,
he
so-
had it before. No, do it the other way and then lay down. Yeah, but then lay down. He's gonna do it. I knew he would do it. Oh,
So-
what a freaking gem.
I think we covered the I think we covered the 8-second thing, right?
Yeah.
The other thing that people really want to see is offsides. They want to see the center line pretty much, just so we don't add any more lines to it, used as an offsides. I don't know. I don't really know what needs to be said about that.
So
To me,
I
it's
can
disgusting to me as a roller.
Yeah, I can say this is so the league my brother plays in, it's a smaller rink, and they play blue line in and red line out. And then when I go home, sometimes I bring my gear. It is terrible. I hate it. It's awful. It slows the game down so much, and it's literally you rely on one guy carrying the puck over the blue line, putting the brakes on, and then waiting for everyone to come in. Which is in roller hockey is a good play.
Yeah.
But the issue though is that on the rink,
It just turns every zone entry into like a ice hockey power play zone entry.
Yes. So yeah, exactly. And I'll be honest, I hate it. I hate the power play entry from today's NHL. I hate looking at roller hockey now, and I tell my wife, like, my wife asked me, like, why do you like roller hockey over ice hockey? The methodology behind it, the skill that's needed to actually win a game. And so one of the things,
cat and mouse, man. It's the strategy. It's the being on a knife edge. It's that you can't make a single mistake. Yeah. Ice hockey is full of chaos where mistakes are what win games all the time. Oh, a greasy puck goes in here and there. It's not roller at all.
No. And so, like, when I look at it and I go, when I look at the NHL, right, and it's like, oh, I'm tired. Let me dump and change. It's like, why not turn that puck back to your defender, go change, and you still have possession.
Yep.
Just dump the puck in the zone, and you gave up possession, and then your team's defending on the way back.
We were kind of talking about that in the last one, remember? Because we were talking about, like, the benefit to the dump and chase and ice is then you can go in there and you just send your boy in to go ramrod.
Yeah, you can check.
Yeah. If you and that's the thing about roller that is beautiful is, like you said, if you make a mistake, if you don't feel comfortable holding on to that puck, you're just gonna screw everything up. That's what it is. It's immediately it makes a much bigger difference. Every small mistake becomes a much larger mistake in roller hockey, I think.
Absolutely, especially with how short the games are.
Yeah.
Right.
Like you have a guy that's not comfortable on defense because maybe he's not playing in his skill level and he's being pressured. He turns the puck over. Now it's an odd man rush.
Yep. Yeah. Okay, so 8-second offsides.
Backcourt violation, and like in basketball.
Okay, yeah.
And so when you take it over the red line, you can't go back.
Yeah.
Now they do that. They do that in for delayed penalties, don't they? In most
correct. In I believe I don't know if it's cross RHA, but at least in State Wars, and does Tours do it too? I don't know.
I think Echo started doing it.
Yeah, Echo
really?
did it.
So I think if Echo does it, then I think everyone does it.
Echo did it and Wish did it.
Interesting. Well, I mean, on the power play, I sort of get it, or the delay, I sort of get it, because quite frankly, what happens too much in that situation, like why that arose, is that you would have a team who's possessing it really well, and then somebody would commit a penalty in an attempt to gain possession. Maybe it's roughing on the wall, maybe they're a little too active with their stick or something, but they're being outclassed, so they're stepping over the line trying to get the puck back. And now you have a situation where you're now on this like perpetual penalty kill from a team you already can't get the puck back from.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of like that one, and we'll probably have that one. I haven't actually made a decision at US World Cup. We'll probably have one. So the last one is a shot clock, which I think is the worst of them all.
Yeah, I can't.
I don't even know. Like, who are you going to have do that? The scorekeeper? They're on TikTok.
Yeah. I don't know. The shot clock is. It kind of destroys the cycle. Like if you have possession in the offensive zone, that's bread and butter right there.
There's not a time that I could think of that's reasonable.
That's
No.
what I was just trying to think of. What amount of
Yeah.
time? I have no
Mhm.
idea.
Mhm.
The only numbers that keep popping in my mind are like 24 or 30 seconds. But even
So we're
Yeah,
doing
right.
So we're doing the number from when the player has to hike the ball in the NFL.
yeah, and exactly. It's only, and I came up with that because I was trying to think like how long is it? Does a team really
Like set up a play and break it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But even then, it's like the thing. I could see that being fun for a very specific. Like if you did a tournament with some really, really, really tight, a very specific thing where you were like, this is me trying to figure out just how nitpicky we can get and how perfect your team can perform. Because it's like then it pushes you to have to every breakout pass has to be perfect. There can't be a bobbled one where you turn around. And like I could see maybe it being fun to watch if it was with the right group of people. But I think that if you're not a team that's, pro quality playing somebody that probably shouldn't be pro, that the shot clock's going to go off all the time. Like unless there's an inequity in the team, it's just going to be constant shot clock violation.
So here's this probably falls into another hot take.
Oh, we got 4 of them this time. Holy
I do.
crap.
So I think fundamentally the problem here is that these complaints are coming from ice hockey people mostly, I think. Or they're coming from non-roller people. You don't hear these things from like roller in the blood kind of people as much. You do sometimes, don't get me wrong. When I did these polls, I had some people that you'd never expect saying like we should bring in offsides and that kind of thing, like legends of the game. But so lost my train of thought a little bit, boys. Sorry about that.
That's
Oh,
all
you're
right.
good.
I'm actually going to hard segue here because we've been talking very gently about USRC, but we haven't
Sure.
actually gotten serious about it. Just so you know, Jake, right now I have the A Revolution in Roller logo on the screen. Now I have your
Right on.
I have these up. Everybody, if you don't know about this, Jake's going to tell you about it right now.
Jake, tell us, what is the U.S. Roller Cup?
Absolutely. So U.S. Roller Cup is my tournament series that I have started to address some things that I feel like could be improved within roller hockey. So I think one of the best ways to illustrate that, first off, is to talk about our Winter Nationals event. So our Winter Nationals event is happening February 16th to 18th, 2024 at SGAA in Snellville, Georgia. SGAA somehow has become the only 2-sheet indoor roller hockey facility in a 500-mile radius. I know exactly the history of how that happened, but to think of how many facilities were in the Southeast throughout North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida that have all just disappeared over the years, to think that SGA is the only one left. And then on the other hand, to think that major tournaments have not come to SGAA since before COVID. So we've had this whole like upswing in roller hockey, and events like Wish Cup do phenomenally well and show that there is this like upswing and surge of new interest in roller hockey since COVID. But we've seen absolutely no interest and investment and like delivering of capital resources to the Southeast, specifically to Georgia and SGA, which would be the beating heart of what's left in the Southeast. I know Tours goes to Southern Florida for their nationals, but it's at a converted ice hockey rink. So there's no permanent full-time home other than SGAA in the Southeast for roller hockey when you're talking about 2-sheet facilities. So part of when I talk about what things I want to improve in roller hockey with US Roller Cup is that the roller hockey market at large has regressed quite a bit from its peak in the late 90s to the early 2000s. And the tournament circuit reflects a lot of that regression. And it all makes a lot of sense when you think about the different economic and business factors that went into why tournaments don't go to certain markets or don't go to certain rinks anymore. But what I want to try to do with my tournament is stand directly into that flow and stand against it. And we want to visit a lot of these markets that have become overlooked and forgotten and to direct more attention and resources and time into those places. So SGA being this only 2-sheet full-time indoor roller hockey facility within 500 miles and still not receiving any of the major tournaments is absurd to me. And that's why we're making our footprint, and we're cracking the door down there first. When you look at full-time 2-sheet roller hockey facilities, there's only one full-time 3-sheet roller hockey facility, and it's in Irvine. It's not even technically fully indoors. But when you look at these 2-sheet facilities, there's only about a dozen of them left. We just lost one outside of Pittsburgh in Mount Pleasant.
Yeah.
So when you think about the whole roller hockey industry and where all of our players and teams are coming from, they're largely coming from these 2-sheet markets. Yes, we have programs like Farm Tough that are coming out of single sheet facilities down in Texas and stuff like that, right? But largely the roller hockey market, or the roller hockey circuit, is these 2-sheet markets, right? These 2-sheet facilities, because when you're someone like me who's in the business of setting up tournaments, it just ultimately makes a lot more financial sense when you have to travel and hire staff and get hotel rooms for refs and all these other things to go to a 2-sheet facility, because the margins on that are so much better. So it's crazy to me that we've sort of forgotten about SGAA and how great of a facility this can be in the context of roller hockey, especially because you guys have played there plenty of times. SGAA has its faults. You know, it's a public park, I believe, technically, and there's some things about it that have not been updated since I was a kid. However, there are some things about SGA that are just absolute magic, and I truly think it's one of the best places to play roller hockey anywhere. And the atmosphere you get in there in competitive games that are packed, with the way the rinks are sunken down like 4 or 5 feet.
That's what I was gonna say.
It's the coolest thing in the world. Yeah. You feel like you're playing in like gladiator pits or something.
Yeah.
And guys are literally like hanging over the glass, and you can hear everything. Like all the guys who are chirping you in the stands from the other program that you lost to earlier, that you hate those guys, and you get everything there. So
Yeah.
I think this Winter Nationals tournament is going to represent an explosion in the Southeast, and a rejuvenation of these markets. And I think we're going to see a lot of these different programs of guys that I grew up with, and I know them very, very well. Guys in the Raleigh scene, guys in the Greensboro scene, guys in the Charlotte scene, guys in Columbia, South Carolina, all these different places which used to have really competitive roller programs. I know a bunch of these guys from teams like Blackout, Carolina Comets, Deeb's Young Guns, like these guys who are thinking about coming back into roller for this Winter Nationals tournament, because they realize that competitive roller is returning to the Southeast on a more regular basis. And one of the things that I've heard talking with people, if I've set up different conversations, trying to get teams interested, trying to get, talking to different potential sponsors and that kind of thing, is most people have been like, dude, you're doing a tournament in February? Are you out of your mind? And for me, it seemed like a perfect time. And I know it's a little bit out of sync with where roller currently is, but a major part of why I'm doing these things is I feel like there's a demand out there for things in roller that aren't currently being met, whether that's the way tournaments are run, when they're held, how, the structure of games, how much things, cost X, Y, and Z, all these different things. When I go to tournaments and I talk to other people, there seems to be this pretty, open murmur of discontent, and I want to solve a lot of those different things and bring a product that people want. And so doing a tournament on a long weekend in February in the South, when there's no other different kinds of competition, the response really has been more of that I've gotten from teams is like, you're the only thing happening.
Yeah.
It hasn't been like, oh my God, I can't believe you thought you were gonna like have a successful tournament in the middle of ice season. It's been like, there's nothing for us to do in February. I've talked to teams, in so far that haven't necessarily signed up, but I've talked to teams from California to Ontario and everywhere in between that are like, we're planning on coming. And another thing that people have kind of told me I'm kind of out to lunch for is how much our pro prize is going to be. And how
much is that? Yeah. Let us know.
Our pro prizes together are over $10,000. Nice. So our first place prize for our pro division is $9,000, and second place essentially wins your tournament fee back. So I set that because I was trying to make something that was comparable to the summer tournaments, which often range somewhere between $10,000 and $30,000. But those tournaments are often like a week or two long, or maybe they're at 3 or 4 sheet facilities, so they're bringing in a lot more revenue. So I didn't have as much financial flexibility to offer something like $30,000, but at a 2 sheet facility, what I felt comfortable being able to offer was something in that neighborhood of $10,000. So it comes out to like 11.25 kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
But what I've found since then is that it's that $9,000 prize is somewhere in the neighborhood of about 3 times as much as the next highest prize in the winter. And that's because these factors I'm talking about, where roller has regressed a lot from its peak, to where it's expected that people are going to be putting their time, energy, and resources in the fall, winter, and early spring into ice hockey, because that's when the traditional ice hockey season is. So the idea has been, or the criticism that I've been met with is like, okay, you're doing a big pro prize in the winter, good for you, but like, don't you know all the good guys are like in the ECHL, or they're over in Europe playing pro roller? And that definitely is a bit of a bummer that we're not necessarily going to get some of your top flight guys who maybe are busy over in roller, like a Frankie Jurek, or like, you know, some of these other guys. But what it does mean is we're able to spread some of that cash prize around to guys who are like full-time roller dogs and aren't necessarily going out and playing ice hockey and going doing this, that, and the other thing. They are the guys who are spending all of their time, you know, through and through focused on roller hockey. So that's something we're really excited about doing differently. And then just in the theme of what we're doing differently as a tournament and how we sort of stand out and things that we want to deliver to our teams and players, I think it's good to circle back on that players rule thing that I was hinting at earlier. And this was a concept where I had come up with about 12 different ideas to leave up to a popular vote for players to decide on what we were going to do for our tournament. And a lot of these were things that have been longstanding debates in the community. So the very first thing that we voted on was, what kind of puck were we going to use? And the whole idea of this was to really build engagement and to get buy-in from people immediately for the tournament. And it seemed like it worked very well for us, because it got us passed around the community almost essentially overnight. And it also developed a sense that a lot of these other tournaments, I think one of the things that you could sort of distill out of those complaints that people have around rinks is that they're stuck in their ways a little bit. And we want to be able to provide something that is immediately flexible and amenable to what the players and teams want, because we don't necessarily have any traditions yet. You know, you don't come to a U.S. Roller Cup necessarily expecting that there's going to be this sort of rule or this sort of thing. We're in this process of defining what we are, and we wanted to invite the players into that process. And that hasn't been really a level of engagement and a level of like ownership and integration that other tournaments have gone for. It's been more of selling themselves on the level of competition that they can sell. And when you look at an Arch or a State Wars, or, you know, tournaments of those caliber, they've done phenomenal jobs at selling themselves on the level of competition, right?
Yeah.
State Wars sells itself on being able to have super teams from each state and going and, you know, being who's the best state, right? And Narch sells itself on being the world's greatest roller. And all of that has done, and it's been phenomenal for those models. But we're trying to do something different, and we're trying to do something that has more player buy-in and engagement. And we want to feel like the people who come to what we're doing are a part of building the future of what's going to happen. Because one of the things that you can point to in roller hockey that has definitely contributed to it not succeeding as well as other sports have is that there are all of these different competing interests.
Yeah.
And unfortunately in roller hockey, those different competing interests are often the very people in the sport who control different critical parts of the infrastructure of how it works. So the left hand in roller hockey has really never talked to the right hand, right?
Yeah.
And that's why we've never been able to progress past to where we are. So it's a small part to have players vote on whether they use an IDS or a still mat or a rocket puck, which, by the way, the players voted on rocket puck, which was what we'll use for Winter Nationals. I got 50 fresh biscuits sitting in the garage that I'm just itching to shoot around with, but I don't want to scuff any of them up because they should be fresh and beautiful for the tournament.
The
But
question here, though, Jake, is, are you going to run out?
I hope not. I hope not. I hope not. Just for a weekend tournament with 2 sheets, I hope 50 pucks is enough. But it depends on how many you clowns put in the rafters.
Well, if it was
20,
anything like me the other day, I was putting them clear over the net, like 4 of them in a row. So I don't even know how that was happening. I'm not gonna lie.
So essentially, the players' rule thing represents a small part of how we're trying to move forward and build a collective future in roller hockey, opposed to this tearing at the seams thing that we've experienced for the last 30 years. We can get into sort of the whole history of roller hockey, but I think at this point it's probably better that we table that for a different thing, because I can spend probably an hour talking about that.
Yeah, you could.
We'll do that next time we have you on. We'll
Yeah,
do
absolutely.
For sure.
like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. No, I mean, something I want to say is it's nice. Me being a little bit newer to the community than you were, Jake, but getting to know you, getting to know Dan, getting to know all these guys who have been playing roller for a while now. It's cool because I developed like kind of on my own a love for the game, but then it was uniquely enhanced by each person kind of giving me their own perspective on it and their background on it. And honestly, the thing that fully pushed me over the edge with roller was going to my first tournament at SSGA with you guys.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And you were talking about that rink. Being able to go there and play, and you really kind of feel it. You get to have the level of competition that you want. I mean, I've only played at the level I've played at, but I'm sure pro guys get their rocks off too. I've watched them play, and everybody gets it everywhere in between. I'm excited, really excited for the U.S. Roller Cup, for everything you've been working on. I know me and Dan were talking about it one time when you first started dropping some stuff on Instagram and just getting all those stories going, and we're like, it went literally from, oh, I think you said to me the first time, you're like, oh, I don't know if anyone is seeing it, like an hour later, Black Biscuits, reposting your stuff.
Right.
Something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like, oh my God, okay. Well, that happened really fast. And I'm so happy for you in that. I think we all are. And I'm glad that we get to do this and have you talk about it on the podcast, because sometimes I talk to guys in the league and I'll be like, yeah, Jake's got the U.S. Roller Cup coming up. And they're like, what's that? And I'm like, how do you not know about this? So being able to, anyone that I can get that out to, man, I'm down for it, because I love what you did with the whole revolution in roller and actually letting people vote on it. I mean, laying into that like America theme, but in like the most righteous way possible, where it's like it is like about like the people playing, and if we do what's right for ourselves as players and as members of the roller hockey organization is the greater organism, it'll only get better and better.
Well, and Jake, you and I have talked about this, is that we have seen some, just since you've been making the mainstream on social media, there have been some tournaments that have made some minor changes that you've been wanting to do, right? So before you've even implemented it, these tournaments have already been like, yeah, we're going to do this. Like, we're going to do something new. And it's like, yeah, but you wouldn't have done that without the wake of USRC.
Totally.
Like, it wouldn't have happened. We know that.
Yeah. Well,
I really, really appreciate hearing all that, guys. As you know, it's a bit of a thing to extend yourself out and start something and really try to change something. To see, the response not only from my local community of friends is amazing, but like as you were saying, the greater roller hockey community picked it up pretty much immediately. It was really, really enthusiastic about it. And most of the people that I've talked to in the broader roller community are excited to see someone at least go out there and take some risks. So, our destiny is in our hands. And, if you understand the history of roller, no one's coming to save us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well,
we got to try to do something different if we want to get past where we are right now. And so the way I look at U.S. Roller Cup in the market is I respect the hell out of what, organizations like Narch, Tours, State Wars, Echo, all these other, brands like Lebeda, Black Biscuit, Rink Rat Conics, all these different people who've been in the game forever, Tor, Alkali, right? But what I want US Roller Cup to be able to represent is you guys do what you're doing. We're going to take some risks.
Mhm.
And if we can push this further,
Yeah.
then you follow what we're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're more than willing to go to the places you're not going to go to and spend the money in ways that you won't. That's okay. We'll take those risks. But if it starts working, let's turn this tide together.
Yeah. And that's needed in any aspect of anything. That's needed every so often is someone who's willing to come in, shake things up, and do what the people want, not just
Mhm.
what's working for the money. I'll say that so you don't have to, because
Well, and it's also Jake's not all about the money, right? And that's been since talking to Jake when he started having conversations with me about, hey, I'm thinking about having this idea. It's never been about the money. It's about the sport. It's about growing the sport, because right now we've kind of hit a plateau in the sport of roller hockey, and it's because every tournament that happens, you look at, if you actually crunch the numbers and you look at the downfalls of these tournaments, it comes down to, okay, there's downfalls, but look how much money they made.
Yeah.
Right? Some tournaments don't hold stats. They only hold it for the pro division. It's like you're making thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars, and you can't even do pro stat. Like, you can't even do stats throughout the entire tournament.
Yeah.
It blows my mind.
Agreed.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you exactly like what my, I guess you could call fundamental motivation is. And it may not necessarily be super clear how what I'm doing right now meets these goals necessarily, but I was, as I've said before, I was a roller guy through and through. And when you grow up in roller hockey, no matter how much you want it, there's really not much of an opportunity in roller hockey for your future. There's a handful of guys out there who have found a way, but between a combination of sponsorships and pro prizes and private lessons and coaching and reffing and this, that, and the other thing, who have made a functional living off of roller hockey. What I want to do is to be able to create the opportunity that wasn't there for me. So when I was growing up, there wasn't that opportunity to do something with roller hockey. And I wanted to be able to change things within the sport, that we can grow it to a point where the next generation of kids like me who love roller and have spent their whole lives at a roller rink and wore skates for 12 hours a day actually have something to aspire to. So those are my goals.
That's great.
Gorgeous, man. That's beautiful. Yeah. I think that is a perfect way to sum up what you're doing, man.
Yeah.
It's coming from the heart. And honestly, let's kind of use that as an ending point for that part of the conversation. Let's hit some rapid fire and wrap it up, and then we'll keep people eager to hear more from you, man. From the scientists.
Absolutely, yeah.
right.
I appreciate you guys having me on, and I'm psyched to get the call up next time.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
check this out. You have to go through the gauntlet really fast. All right.
Okay.
Let me do the first one. Let me do the first one.
Okay.
Is there another hot take?
No. I'm going to do the first rapid fire question, and Justin, you can take it over. And I may be stealing one from you.
Okay.
All right, Jakey Poo. Oh, it's on. Okay. Wood or composite?
Oh, wow. Wow. Well, you date composite, you marry wood.
Hey. I like that. That's a good answer.
As you guys know, I'm such a huge believer in the wood stick. And I think my ideal setup, if we didn't play asphalt, I'd probably be rocking like the nicest two-piece shaft you could get with a wood blade, but there's not a ton of those left because the feel of a wood blade is absolutely unmatched. But like the thing that I want young hockey players to understand, and people who are coaching young hockey players, is that these new sticks are great, but people don't shoot faster than they did with wood sticks.
Yeah.
Literally, the top speed of the shot in the NHL is not actually increased. What's happened is people are able to shoot faster with bad form.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And they're able to shoot more quickly, right? That's what new sticks allow you to do. They essentially allow you to cheat. And so I truly think that everyone should learn how to shoot properly with a wood stick, because if you can make a wood stick pop, you can make anything pop. And it's the same kind of mentality of opposed to like, don't think about it going to shoot as like, oh, just hitting your targets or doing this. Think about it more like swinging an axe.
Yeah.
Where it's about making the good connection. And if you've ever split logs, like if you've ever chopped wood, you can't like overthink swinging an axe too much. It's about, trusting the motion and becoming fluid and making a solid connection. And those are the same concepts that you need to take into actually developing a good shot. And I think you learn those things through learning how to shoot a wood stick that you skip over when you shoot with composite sticks. And the thing that I notice with guys who almost like strictly shoot composite is they have such a hard time adapting to whatever they have to switch to. And the thing for me is I switch stick to stick. It takes me a little bit to like sort of understand it.
Yeah.
But once you can figure out where a stick pops, you can shoot with anything.
Yeah.
And that's because you know how to shoot, not because you figured out how to shoot with a particular stick.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
with composite sticks too, it's like you take one good clapper and you've just sharded the entire stick, and you've made it weaker every time.
Yeah.
So every shot with a composite stick makes it weaker.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so is true with wood, but I mean, ultimately, when you practice with a wood stick, your hands will be faster, you'll be stronger on the puck, and you're going to develop more sound shooting mechanics because you're actually going to have to make your body do the work instead of the stick. And the beautiful synergy that you really want to hit with guys who are elite shooters is they make their body do the work and they make the stick do the work. It's not one or the other.
It's like dancing.
Absolutely.
Riding a horse, any of those things. Yeah, you have to be in sync. All right, high lows or flats?
Interestingly enough, I just played on flats for the first time in like a decade this last Monday, and I think I prefer high lows actually.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. I much prefer the convenience and sort of quality of life of just rocking all 80s.
Yeah.
And not having to think about your wheels.
So you prefer flats now?
I think performance-wise, I prefer flats, but like just day-to-day like living, I would probably prefer high-lows if that makes sense. Because I don't like having to buy the separate wheels, and it's like, oh, this one doesn't fit. Especially like at our rink where, you chew through wheels weekly.
Oh yeah, I have to rotate my wheels a lot.
Right here, baby.
Yeah, everybody, quick. I have to
Right
put
here,
that
baby.
You have to send me that logo. That's technically a sponsor, I guess.
Well,
they sponsor you.
Yeah, that's true.
So we have to be able to pull that up. I'm glad you're wearing that shirt, by the way. All right. Speaking of brands, though, what do you have a brand of skates that you think is superior in the roller community?
Growing up, I always used tour skates because they were wider. But I tried some recently that just weren't very wide. As you guys know, I buy the crappiest skates I pretty much can because I tear through them so quickly. I actually just got a new pair in today because I broke you guys saw I bent my chassis.
Yeah.
I just tear through gear in such a unique way that until we're in an indoor mainstay, I'm not really gonna worry too much about my skates. You know what I'm saying? I think the ones that interest me the most are those companies that do the form-fitted skates. Is that Graph or True, where they like take the whole form of your skate? If you could get those on as a roller conversion, that would be pretty sick.
I have 3 pairs of skates.
I'm thinking about rocking 2.
Goalie. My 2 pairs previous. Those are my goalie skates, and they are falling apart. Outdoor, indoor.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you, my outdoor, indoor skates, you don't want to know the price.
He spent the last 2 years' earnings on it.
Yeah, my Bowers were like $165.
Yeah. Got those on a
$2,000
payment plan. So we kind of talked about this earlier, but just real quick answer. What makes roller better than ice?
Oh, just one specific thing?
Yeah, like as quick as you can.
Okay, I think roller is the most pure version of the sport. I think that ice hockey has a lot of junk in it that when you actually boil it down to, it just isn't actually relevant to like, am I better than you? And I think roller is the best version of who's better, me or you. And so like you take out checking, right? Because that removes me just being like a bigger body than you and being able to just beat you off the puck, right? Which is great in ice, but like it's different for roller, right? You remove the offsides and the icing and all those other things that just muck the game up, right?
Yeah.
And I think that roller is just the more pure version of the sport, and it's the better example of who's better.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I can't disagree with that. So
What do you think is the most important skill or trait for a hockey player to have?
Vision,
I like that.
being able to read the play. You can compensate for so many other things if you have good vision.
Yeah.
Both offensively and defensively. It doesn't matter how fast you can skate if you're on the wrong side of the rink.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. If you didn't play hockey, what sport would you play?
Oh man, I would want to say
lawn
lacrosse,
bowling.
but the thing is, I'm allergic to grass. So
Shut up.
I'm seriously allergic to grass. Yeah, I can't do any of that stuff. Yeah.
Really?
So yeah. So lacrosse would be like the easiest one to step into, but no, I'd be a free ride skier. Put me on the world free ride tour. That's so sick. Yeah,
Okay.
I would do that. Yeah,
Sick.
let me huck like 30-foot cliffs and stuff like that into pow pow.
What do you think? What do you think the best hockey movie is, or show, or anything?
Oh, okay. Well, show it's Shorzy, right?
Yep.
Or Letterkenny. It's not really a hockey show, but movie. Okay, so this is a little bit of backstory on me. Total like huge dorky connection, but for me, it's Miracle.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because Miracle came out in 2004, which was the same summer that I was playing on Team USA when we won World Inline Cup, and then 2 weeks later won the Junior Olympics. So that came out at the same time, and to be like playing on Team USA, even though it's roller hockey, and even though it's like the Junior Olympics, and you're like 10 years old, and then to have Miracle come out, and it's this massive, Hollywood production about beat the Russians, and that 100%. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that's perfect.
Nice.
What do you think is a non-hockey like hobby or activity that you do that transfers over well into hockey, makes you a better hockey player just because you do this other thing?
Sure. Well, I'll give you a bit more of a broader answer, right?
Okay.
There's a book that was written in like the 16th century by a samurai called the Book of the Five Rings, right? And the point of the Book of the Five Rings is that the path through mastery is the same through all things, right? So the idea is that you can learn something about sword fighting through painting. You can learn about gaps. You can learn about patience. You can learn about motion and balance through painting and apply that to sword fighting, right? And so that's kind of how I sort of look at everything.
Yep.
And whether it's playing guitar or going hiking or doing my wood burning or even something like playing video games, whenever I feel like I pick up on some sort of a lesson like patience,
Yep.
which really, or something like posture, which matters a lot in dance, or it matters a lot in fighting, which people may not think about a lot in hockey, but really when you're approaching someone one-on-one, when skill coaches these days talk about things like attack angles and they talk about looking at crossovers, really what they're getting at is posture. And you want to attack, whether you put it through someone's feet, whatever your move is, when they're at their most vulnerable position of posture, right? And so that's something that you can learn through, of any really all these different things in life. So really, I approach everything in life as how can you generalize it and apply it to other things. So for me, it's not necessarily just one thing. I've learned things about hockey in pretty much every other aspect of my life.
You know what I like to transition from like outside of hockey? Sweeping and Swiffering.
Yeah.
You ask my wife how many Swiffers I broke. 3.
What are you trying to put? Do they not have enough flex, or do they have too much flex? What is it?
You gotta get one from Pure Hockey.
Yeah. Listen, I've broken 3 of them, the handles, because when I go to Swiffer, I push down too hard. And so I'm being honest with you.
I tried to get the puck from you. I believe that.
When I sweep, I envision it me handling a puck. So if
Wow.
I'm like doing if I'm sweeping a broom, or if I'm more or less like a sweeping broom, not a push broom, but a push broom's kind of you can kind of take in there. But like just sweeping, it's like kind of it's almost like dancing, right? So kind of using that motion to kind of transition into your hockey game.
Heck yeah.
So
Here's another way that I connect it is through my art. I like to do a lot of stuff like sacred geometry and stuff like that, right? And you can sort of think about the curved lines in sacred geometry like skating lanes, and the connected lines like passing lanes. So if you look at something like a Metatron's cube, if you're familiar with that, which if you're not, you should look it up. But Metatron's cube looks like cycling and passing lanes.
what if I don't want to pass?
Well, that's a different issue. That's more of a ruler.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
All right. Final question. You ready?
Sure.
Did you have fun?
I had a blast, gentlemen. Thank you for having me on.
I had a blast. It was great.
Heck yeah, man. Thank you so much, Jake. Everybody, check out the U.S. Roller Cup. We're going to have links to all that in the description. We're going to have links to our merch, to sponsorship opportunities for Asheville Hockey League. What else you got for him, Dan?
Well, make sure you subscribe to the channel. That's number one, because we want you to subscribe. We want you to check out our content. We ultimately we need your subscriptions, right? So if you watch us, if you watch any of our videos, subscribe. And